Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gray Man Prepping. It is time for Survival Saturday, and come on, let's go. Technical difficulties. Oh, okay, sorry. Tonight's topic is after collapsed septic system. How's everybody doing? I'm going. Finally got rid of 3 of the 4 grandkids. Got one out there watching a movie right now. Let's see. Let's make sure I got everybody here saying hi to them. So let me scroll back up to the top here. And so first one in was Phelan Clan Wolf, reporting that all the scouts are gone from scout camp. Got Walt Rogers in next, then Sue Me, Hayden Ear, Howie at Food Forest Permaculture. Chef Tech, that's Marcus here. Moon Over Miami's here. Diana 2's here. Pat Small is here. Oh, Phelan says long ads tonight. And King Poopa is here. Hey, Dustin. And alrighty. So I know I've talked about this a little bit around this subject a little bit several times on different live streams and a couple of little short videos and stuff. And I mentioned it in your prep for today. Hey, what does he say? Please tell me that did not happen to you, Dustin. Oh. So what we're talking about is the septic system after SHTF, or even worse, Milwaukee begins. And so you don't want this happening outside your house. And it could happen for a number of reasons. It could happen inside your house too. If you're on a city system, this is the danger you got to worry about. If you're out in the country or you're out somewhere where you're on a septic tank system already, you're a lot better off. But then you also know the problems with being on a septic system. And I'm sorry, just reading the comments in the chat there. So with your, oh, wait a minute, I forgot to put, for those of you who want to come up and talk about this, there's the link, and let me pin it. All right. So hey, Mark.
Hey.
So one of the things you can consider about this, if you're on a septic system already, you know the problems that you can have with your septic system. And I don't think you know all the reasons why you can have those problems. And I'll be addressing these once we get into it. And if you're on a city system, there are a number of problems you can have there as well. And depending on the city system and your location, you may or may not have problems. So let me get this up here. Yeah, so there's a city system clean out that has backed up and overflowed. And so before I go back to that, so on a city system, it flows down outside your house, past the clean out into the street, ties into this into the main line, and the main line goes down towards wherever it needs to go to. In some cases, depending on how large the city is and how many sewer treatment plants they put in, and whether you have areas that are lower than other areas and they need to pump it up to another area to get it out so it can start flowing down the rest of the way. You can have all sorts of problems. If you are near the top of the flow in your area there, then you're better off. If you're down near the bottom, you're worse off because poop flows downhill.
My neighbors are going to hate me if that happens because I'm near the top of my development, and they literally have one of those portable generators just in case the power fails at the pumping station to pump it out of our little mini itty-bitty valley. And all I need is water to flush. And, yep, it's going to go wherever down there. That's about a half a mile away. As long as I'm not upwind from it, I'm okay. Or downwind.
All right. I see Daniel Berry, Sports Highlight, has joined us. All right. So I got 2 comments in here. Dustin said, Electrifest, they have an oversized septic tank because there was a beauty shop in the front of the house back when Courtney's mother or grandmother ran the beauty shop. Hey, Duke by V. And we go back up to the other one. So got 2 drain fields, 1 oversized septic tank, and 1 drain field for the laundry only. Now, I want to talk about that one there later. Tooth by V says there's no top in my town flatland. Grandma. Okay, Justin said it was the grandma that ran it. And we're going to talk about that too, Howie. Okay, so we first moved on the land. We had a honey pot with a toilet seat on it. Then we had an outhouse for 4 years. Had no problems using the outhouse if the septic system fails. Cool. And, of course, I've mentioned it before. My grandmother grew up on a ranch, no power, no pressurized water. They had a hand pump. And they had an outhouse, a 3-seater outhouse. Because there were like 15, 17 people in that family.
That's a pooping party time.
Yeah. And Kathy D. Salt and Light's in here. All right. So, let me see what else. I'm going to say, hang on one second.
Oh, we still got the grandkids over.
He's complaining about the one show ended, another one came on that he didn't want to come on. So,
didn't we talk about letting strangers in your house today?
That ain't a stranger. That's the mini me. You saw him. He's a mini me.
Yeah, I saw him.
All right. So we have several things we're going to go over here. So what is a septic system? Well, septic system, it comes from the house here, the big brown on the left here, out the pipe into a septic tank, and septic tanks can be built in different ways. In fact, the one house I had in Martinez, when we dug up the patio area, dug up the area to put the patio in, we were digging it down to pour the concrete, and we hit the top of the wooden septic tank.
Oops.
Yeah, well, it wasn't used anymore. It had been on the city sewer for 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah, but you still didn't want to fall into it.
Yeah, well, it had been filled in with dirt, but anyways. So you got a septic tank, and some of them are just one big tank. The newer ones have multiple dividers in them to separate stuff out to do different things on it. And then from that, the liquids off the top go out to a distribution box to go to a drain field.
The effluent.
And so the tank, though, has a lot of things going on in it, especially if you got a good one where it's got dividers in it. It'll separate the grease. It'll separate solids. And if you have the right bacteria grow it in there, it'll eat up and dissolve the grease. It'll eat up and dissolve the
most of the solids.
Hang on. Claude Ortega's here. That's your buddy, right?
No, not mine.
Not yours? Okay. Put a manual shut off on your house. It's in the safety system. Yeah. Okay, so what happens in here, with the type of bacteria you get in there, the bacteria will eat up the solid poo. It'll eat up the greases. It'll eat up, if you have the right mixture, it'll also eat up the hair and everything else. And then you run a load of laundry that has bleach in it. And what happens?
You just killed it.
You just killed your septic tank. And most people don't realize that. That's why they have to get their septic tank pumped out. Well, I know got to get their septic tank pumped out, blah, 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 blah. And if the guy's smart, if the guy's a good guy, he's going to tell you, you've been running bleach in your laundry, haven't you?
Well, I have to get my tidy whitey.
Or you're using the antibacterial hand soaps, both of which kill all the bacteria in the septic tank.
That's where you need a separate line run to a different leach field, but for gray water. But that's another story on your part.
Yeah. And so you want to make sure, and some people do, like Walt mentioned there, he's got 2 drain fields, one for the laundry and one for the rest of the house. Well, and if you have everything set up right, you can also divert in the summertime or springtime. You can start diverting the laundry to go to the garden, except when you run the bleach load, then you want to turn the valve so it goes back to the drain field. And you can do this. And if you have the rest of the house, if you spend a little time ahead of time, you can set the rest of the house up so that showers and sinks can be diverted as well.
Just watch out for your kitchen sink if you're washing greasy stuff.
Yeah. And so you'd have like the bathroom sinks and the showers where you can divert those to the garden as well. And one of the problems with septic tanks is people nowadays have a unrealistic expectation for the amount of water they use.
Yeah.
So they go, oh, the sewer takes it away, and we just use all the water we want. Unless you're in California, when they start charging you an arm and a leg and your first and third born, pay your water bill.
Yeah, they charge you for the water going in, and then they double it up for the water going out.
Yeah. So
they do that around here.
And so one of the things you need to think about is conserving your water anyways. But once if the septic tank is working properly, it will digest all the poo and the grease, so long as you can keep it alive and don't put friggin' bleach down there or ammonia or antibacterial hand soap or antibacterial bath soap or anything antibacterial. Excuse me. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Across the street, the main line comes down. I mean, all the lines are in the basement, so it's all totally exposed, and it goes right. It has a clean out right before it goes out to the out through the basement wall to head down to the sewer. So yeah, they've had a couple times over there where kids have flushed stuff down the toilet over there, and they've had to get one of the 55-gallon barrels down there, take the top off, put underneath the drain, crack it, let it bleed all the pressure off, and then open it up, and then run the snake down there and clear it out.
You mean GI Joes can't swim?
No, neither can Transformer trucks. Or in a case of our city here, do I got it here? Oh no, I took it into the other room. Dang, I got the newsletter, and they got a picture of what the city maintenance guy was doing over at when our ponds for some reason get too full, and they need to pump some sewage across the road to Firth's new treatment plant. Well, the pump thing he was having problems with, so they opened it up, went down to look at it. I mean, it looked like white rocks in there. It was balled up grease. And then there was some wiffle ball. It was a wiffle ball in there. How did they flush a wiffle ball down the toilet and out?
That must be one of those Kohler toilet commercials they're filming out there where you can flush golf balls, wiffle balls, Barbie doll heads. You can flush everything down these toilets. They won't clog. Well, they don't talk about the city.
Yeah. All right. Sumi says, never used bleach in the laundry myself, but it'd be easy to direct bleach into pails. Yeah, if you're washing stuff in pails. Now, so your system here, but you go, wait a minute, I live in the city. They're not, and if it's SA shift, I'm not going to be able to dig up and put in a big professional system like this. Yeah, you're gonna have to go by the back roads here, and there's another description of it. So you got your inlet T, your outlet T. Has a kind of little filter to keep chunks from flowing up there, and you get your scum build up on the top and stuff like that. So this is what a drain field looks like, and generally all the ones I've worked on and stuff, I'm saying for this one here, that rock bed in there is probably maybe 4 inches thick. The ones I always worked on, they were at least 12 inches thick, and for this size here, they would have twice as many pipes. But the bigger your drain field is, wider and longer, the more it can disperse. If you do happen to be using a lot of water, the more it can disperse it over the area, and you won't have a problem with it backing up. So let me go to the next one here. Oh, the do-it-yourself 55-gallon barrel septic tank system.
That'll work for about a year or two.
And you notice they put in a big top here, and down here they got a looks like they got a galvanized plate on top there that they've screwed in place. They got a couple of these here put together with bulkhead fittings and stuff, and a lot of silicone around it. So it pumps into that one, and then it goes over to this one here, and then it goes out. Well, this second one here is a digester unit only. First one is a digester and grease trap. Now, with the fact that the barrels are round, gives them support from the side, crushing them in. However, they got a flat top. And generally, the thickness of the plastic on the top of these type barrels is 2 to 3 times the thickness on the side. You can't have problems with it. Okay. This is a big friggin' no-no, and I saw so many people talking about this, and one company says, "Oh, we can install these, the IBC septic tank system for you." Blah 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 blah. No, absolutely not.
Why?
It will. All right. The plastic on this stuff is thin. I can sit there and go bloop 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 with it, and it deforms, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 inches by my finger.
Yeah.
The cage around it isn't to keep it from going in, it's to keep that soft plastic from going out.
Maybe slide some 1/4-inch metal plate down all the sides to support
that or just wood around it would work. Some plywood or a bunch of old 2x and just build a 2x wall around. But they're already starting to backfill around this, and there's no such thing on it. I mean, you can even use the galvanized, corrugated galvanized. People are using them for all these new galvanized planter beds, which I totally disagree with, because I know what galvanized metal does in a few years. So as soon as that dirt hits the side, it's just going to cave that sucker in on the side if you don't reinforce it. Now the top, what keeps the top from falling down in, and it's really hard to see unless you got it on a big screen here. You can see these two cross pieces of galvanized tubing going across the top. In the middle, it's molded with a little hook on it. So the galvanized tubing goes through it to support the lid, just to keep it from sagging in the sun. Well, that you put some weight on there, and that little plastic thing is going to break, and the top's going to cave right on down in as well. So
that falls into the category of don't bury a shipping container either, because same thing applies.
This is much worse. A shipping container, there are ways around that make it actually stronger. But this, it's like you basically got to build something around this, and you just have a little. You have the skin tank inside, and the wood structure or concrete structure on the outside to support it. But there is a way to do one of these, but it ain't burying it, folks. And you got to have elevation to your property. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. Before I go to the next one. So elevation to your property. You can take one of these, and if you put it on the surface so that the pipe going into it is lower than the pipe coming out of your house, perfect. You don't have to bury it. And you can have 1 tank, 2 tank, and you have the digesters going. And the only thing you got to worry about it freezing up in the wintertime. That's the only thing you got to worry about that, depending where you're at. Of course, if you're running enough hot water out there and stuff like that, and the bacteria is digesting right and generating heat, you may not freeze. But that's the only way I would use one of these. Is I might do it if I buried 16 inches only and put some 2x12s around it or whatever, just to protect the side, but most of it's up above. But yeah, for IBC tank for that, no. I'd rather have an IBC tank for fresh water. So what are you sending into your new homemade septic tank? Well, I talked about this a little bit already. 3 types of waste. Liquids. And liquids, everything liquid you can think of that goes into your sewer is going there. Solids. Oh, we all know what that is. And holding here for a second, If you are currently using a garbage disposal, and once you go on your own system, stop using the garbage disposal. Anything that you're trying to grind up in the garbage disposal, put in a compost bowl and take it out and bury it, or put it in a compost pile where you can get good use from it. And so I'm just looking at that. Yeah, the cages on all of them are galvanized, so the cages aren't going to last 5 years at the max. But the cages aren't going to be holding the dirt out anyways. What does Caitlin say here? Watch a guy, and it'll use a 3-tank system. Yeah, that's kind of like they were doing with the 55-gallon barrels, lower than lower. And so, yeah, and so basically the first one digests, the second one digests, third one digests, and then you got just liquid going out.
Now, if you can get your hands on that 24-inch black corrugated culvert pipe, the plastic stuff, that'll support side load.
Oh, yeah, that'll support all sorts of loads.
But that stuff is like $100 a foot for the big stuff.
Well, the last time I got some, which has been about 2 years ago, maybe 3, 2 years ago, a 15-inch inside diameter was $265 for a 20-foot joint.
That's not too bad.
No.
Now it's stupid money.
Yeah, and 20 feet at 15-inch, you can put a lot of stuff down in there. But I also got a 36-inch at 20 feet, and that was 500 and something. No, that 500. No, that was $660 for 36-inch. No, I froze. I don't know if you caught that numbers. So 36-inch inside diameter, 20-foot long, $660 plus tax.
Now, those are the ones with the smooth inside, but the convoluted outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 36 and 40. Well, you can't get 48. You can get it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, you can get it. The 36 inch.
The neighbor across behind on the other side of my daughter got a 20-foot piece of 48 and put it up from the treehouse down to the ground.
Wow.
Slide.
Because you cut those things in like 36 or 30-inch pieces. They're great for raised beds.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so all right, so we got solids, liquids, and of course the next one, chemicals. What chemicals do people put down there, down the sewer?
Toilet cleaning chemicals,
antibacterial chemicals, makeup chemicals, medicines. Oh, well, this medicine's expired. I'm going to throw it away. Down the toilet it goes. Yeah, you don't want to be putting that stuff down, that stuff down the toilet no more if you're on your own septic system. And
so what kind of toilet paper should we use? Single ply, double ply, triple ply?
Don't matter. It does not matter. And the myth that you can only use this special expensive toilet paper in a RV or a travel trailer, also a myth. You got toilet paper wet? How long does it stay solid? Stay strong?
But the Charmin, I can stretch the Charmin out 5 feet in my bathroom and get it wet like the commercial and put my kids' Barbie dolls on there and they'll sit pretty and not break. Yeah, anyway. Sorry.
For how long? Oh, about 10 seconds. I mean, seriously, folks, I'm going to get a little personal here on this. Think about it. Oh, I got Montezuma's Revenge. I'm going to get toilet paper. No, I'm going to get about 3 times the normal toilet paper because I don't want my finger going through as soon as it gets wet from the diarrhea. it breaks down really fast.
Just wipe faster.
Yeah. If you want to see how fast it breaks down, just take a couple squares, drop it in the toilet, and come back in an hour and pour an 8-ounce cup of water over it and watch it just disintegrates.
Yeah, my brother-in-law is all about, they have the tank, but they have an injector pump that pumps it to the street. Yeah. And they were told to only use single-ply toilet paper because your jet pump will clog up and go bad prematurely if you use the wrong toilet paper. So
that's
they only use single ply. It's
yeah.
It's PS.
I start. All right. Graduated from high school, went to college. 1 semester taking administration of justice. Joined the campus police. Did campus police for a while. During the summertime when I wasn't in college, I was working for my cousin's construction company. And then I got on full time with another construction company with my brother. And the construction companies were underground construction companies. That means storm, sewer, and water.
And bunkers.
And then I put myself through the police academy. My brother came back saying, "Hey, I got a job for you making $65 an hour playing in the dirt." So I went back into construction again. That company built sewer treatment plants as well as putting in all the pipelines and stuff like that. That was the second largest underground construction company in California. And, to put in pump stations and stuff. The pumps and stuff for the any type of sewer pump, it's meant to grind up poo. All right. It's meant to grind up, hard marble poo. So toilet paper doesn't make any difference at all. It's going to go, it's not even going to notice it's there. So when someone says, "Oh, you got to have special toilet paper for it," they are lying to you because they're probably trying to sell you the special toilet paper, which is ridiculously expensive, which is crap toilet paper anyway. It's like John Wayne paper. It's rough. It's sandpaper rough and doesn't take crap off anybody.
So Pennsylvania has their own set of rules for septic. I have to put what's called a sand mound. It's an evaporative sand mound, and they had to dig down and do a test, do the perk test. I will be getting probably a 800-gallon concrete tank outside the house in the lower area with an injector pump that'll pump it uphill, not very far, and disperse it into the sand mound. That's a whole other thing. And you have to get that sand mound pretty much dug out and replaced like every 20 years. Because it just clogs up with stuff, and it's a special sand, and it's just
on your concrete tank. Make sure you have plenty of bacteria in it, and make sure it doesn't pump hardly anything at all, and make sure it pumps off the top, not the bottom.
Yeah, they don't put the pump at the bottom. I forget where it sits, and there's a float level in there, and there's alarms, and if it gets too high and the pump doesn't turn on, alarms go off, and it's all kinds of just random crap.
Yep.
But I'll replumb a few things for gray water to go out to my gardens. Yay.
Yeah. And that is where you can either have the IBC totes tank sitting next to the side of the house up high, so you can pump your gray water right up into that, or your dark gray water, laundry water, stuff like that, sinks and stuff. But yeah, when it comes to septic systems after the collapse, you're going to want to reuse as much of that water as you possibly can, which means like shower water and stuff gets reused to do laundry, for the soap cycle, and then you use cleaner water for the rinse cycle to make sure you get all the soap and anything in the gray water out. Which also means
people are going to pee in the shower.
Yeah,
I
that's, yeah. People are going to take offense to this. No more peeing in the shower.
had to go there.
Everything I heard is Red X. If you're using Red X, that's the only stuff you use in it to get the bacteria going. There is better stuff than Red X. You can buy a gallon of this liquid stuff, and you put like half the gallon in there, and when you're first setting it up, and you be very judicious in the use of it when you're first using it. And the bacteria will multiply, and that leaves you with another half gallon later. If you have a really, really big tank, you're gonna have to put the whole gallon in there for it. But that is some potent bacteria. Now, the company I was working for had a subsidiary called Mountain Construction Inc. that took care of hazmat stuff, and they got with some scientists and stuff. They had developed a bacteria that actually eats oil, grease, and other petroleum products like that. And so they started putting in tanks at like gas stations, car washes and stuff, where the rainwater wash off the gas and the diesel and oil drippings and stuff into this tank stuff, and the bacteria in there would just gobble that stuff right up. So they do have stuff like that out there as well. But you don't want to mix the two bacteria together.
To be scientifically clear, it doesn't eat it and make it go away. It converts it to multiple other, we'll just say, entities. One of those products is generally like a sand type grit. That will eventually, I deal with a particular chemical with my company. And if over time it'll build up on the bottom of your grease trap or your interceptor system or whatever, but it's not toxic. It's just a hard sediment. So the bacteria eats the grease, releases it as CO2 and a couple other things, and then liquids that are fine for the environment, and then a grit. Yeah. And the grit itself will, over time, you'll have to get that pumped out anyway.
Yeah. And so it does certain things like that, and depending on the type of grease and stuff, gasoline, diesel stuff going in there, it takes longer for it to process. But generally speaking, unless you're getting a hurricane deluge, it's going to handle all the water normal winter does and everything, because these tanks are pretty big, and they this is it. They have the sensors in there to test it, and when it's clean, it pumps the clean water into the storm drain.
When I lived up in Jersey, the big thing for certain people to do was to go to Kmart back in the day, buy your oil, buy your filter, go out in the parking lot, park over top of a storm drain, and drain your oil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They actually had several of the places in around the San Francisco Bay Area that were hiring to put in these things in, like at AutoZone, and some of the other ones had big parking lots where they had a Kmart, a Walmart, a Target, or whatever, and they had a bunch of other stores, a little strip mall. And because generally people would go buy it at the one, go to the other end of the mall, and do the oil change at the other end, the parking lot down there. And so the owners are doing that to that. And Lewis just threw up. No, he's been a member for 5 months. Woo! Speaking of which, here, let me do it here. Hang on, let me get in over here. There we go. Here goes 5 memberships, and we're going to see who grabs it. Happy Mac just got one. Tennessee Tactical 1 got one. Shawnee got one. Pat Small got one, and Butch Graves got a membership.
Sweet.
These memberships are good for 30 days, where you can go in and look at all the members only videos, and you also get noted when I do some of my videos that I put out will be members only at first for several days, and then it releases to everybody else. So you get first shot at those. All right. I think that's the last one on the chemicals. Yeah. Okay. So let me drop that down and do some shuffling around here.
Hey, I sent you a quick email with a couple pictures of my composting toilet I put at the cabin. It's not really a compost; it's more of a Rubbermaid tote with a bag, and I keep lime and peat moss in a bucket and sprinkle it in there to keep the smell down for a few days.
Now, let me go ahead and search this here. Composting toilets, and you guys just type in composting toilets. Take that down and bring this up here. All right, there are a bunch of them. Prices range all over, depending on, you got some of the cheap ones here for $400 or $500. Hey, it looks like the same one, just different price offered by different, a few, same company, so they must have a few different bells and whistles on it or under it. Then you got the Boxio toilet, composting toilet. But you got some of these other ones that get up over $1,000, which are set up to really do a job. It separates pee in one direction, poo in another direction, and really does the composting stuff on it. Just going to images, and some are really set up. Some of them, they set it up under like an outhouse type one, like that one there. Or that's just the bucket one they use on there. And they have the bucket with the cedar shavings in it and dump down in there. There's ones that comes with the bacteria bars and stuff to eat it up. There's all sorts of different designs for these composting toilets. Composting toilets, depending on how they're done and the way they work the best. If some of them really do a good job at breaking down everything, and then you can use it in the garden for fertilizer, or you can take it out and put it in the compost pile and let the worms do another job on it and really clean it up before you use it in the garden. Now people go, "Ooh, human poo, that's an Americanized thing." A lot of European countries use the poo to fertilize. A lot of Asian countries use the poo to fertilize. South American,
Mexico,
South American, Central America, Asia, Russia, Africa. That's the one I was trying to say. Yeah. Just about every other culture other than the United States is perfectly fine with using poo to fertilize. They've been doing it for thousands of years.
Just got to watch out what meds you're on and putting that in your plants, because that doesn't really compost.
Yeah. Now, so there's your composting toilets. Do your own research. Figure out what you want, what you can use, what you can't use, what's going to work, how much you're willing to spend, and go through and do your research on it for doing stuff on it. And so, yeah. Now, as far as urine goes, Old School Prepper has for the last several years been doing testing, and she videos it, all summer long and everything. She has a control. She has one with Miracle Girl on it. She has one with urine, one with urine and potash or fireplace ash on it, and she does several different ones. And that's what she puts on there for fertilizer, and then she the videos, the different fruit, how green it gets, what it looks like, fruit production, and everything else on it. Yeah, the natives here did it. So, So tonight's live stream is to get you guys to think, seriously think, what am I going to do if the collapse happens and suddenly the city sewer is not working anymore? Now, there have been several people saying, well, I'm up on a hill. I'm just going to keep using mine. It's just going to flow downhill, and where it goes from there, I don't know. Well, you got a big problem with that. When it starts flowing to people's houses downstream, they're going to get perturbed. It starts flowing out manholes downstream. Neighborhoods are going to get perturbed, and they're going to backtrack it.
Well, if the poo hits the fan that bad, there's no maintenance people to backtrack it. But on the other hand,
no, I mean I'm talking about the citizens are going to backtrack it.
But as it gets on the ground and starts to grow bacteria externally, all kinds of disease problems happen now.
Yeah,
because it's not composting; it's just raw sewage coming out. And you may not, if you're that close to where it's coming out of the ground, you may not want to stick around very long.
Yeah. And so diseases are going to start spreading anyways. You're going to have cholera. I just lost the other ones that come from bad sewage and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be spreading. And just because I'm several miles away, I'm not going to get it. Well, someone may wind up with cholera and go to the same place that you're going with to barter and trade stuff. Next thing you know, you picked up the bacteria from them, and now you're sick. So, don't be that guy that's going to be an Adam Henry and just go, well, I don't care where it's going. Because it's going to turn around and it's going to bite you. So figure out what you can do. Now, if you're having to scrounge for parts and stuff, what are you doing? You're digging a small outhouse, or you're using a trench line. You're doing whatever you need to do to dispose of that the solid waste. Now, a friend of ours up the street from us in California, she was the head of the I can't even say the word now. Horticulture department for the college system for the county, and her husband was asking her, is it going to hurt a tree if I pee on it? And she goes, no, it's not going to hurt a tree. So every time he's out working, instead of coming to the house to pee, he just pee on one of the trees out there. Boys will be boys. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, one day that flow could stop because of blockage, or the pipe goes up again. Yeah, but it goes down, and all of a sudden it's blocked. They could, someone gets mad down there, and they go a couple of manholes up from them, and they start dropping sandbags, and they fill that manhole up, so it's not coming out near them. Now it's backing up farther, and stuff's backing up the line. Next thing you know, it's backed up to your house, and you got that happening outside your house. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Sumi. You gotta do things properly. Urban Garden Chronicles, welcome. So, in thinking about what you can do, can't do, there are plenty of plans online for making a septic system. There are old plans for the old wooden ones even. And I kind of like the idea of some of the old wooden ones that have a bonus over the modern concrete or big plastic or fiberglass tanks, because those don't leak fluid at all. The old wooden ones, they dig a big, huge hole, build their structure in it, and put drain rock around it. Well, the 2-bys don't seal tight. And so the liquid would flow out there besides going down the drain field. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to think about once we're no longer using our modern, lazy, type systems where you don't have to worry about it, you're going to find out things are a lot more difficult than you think. And planning for this stuff now so that you're ready to do it when the time comes, which means now, some night, get some friends, find the nearest manhole cover to your house, one on each side, and then go measure how deep those are. Go out there one night, pull the cover off, measure down, cover it back up, measure the other one, see what it is on that, and then get a one of those simple little eye transit and see which manhole cover is higher, so you can see which way it's actually flowing, what your elevation is. Get all this information because you're going to need it later on. And then how far of a setback do you have from it, or do you need to just dig up the backyard and under the house put a diverter valve in there and run it out the back? And I'm trying to remember who was it that said they put in a shut-off valve so they can shut themselves off from the city. That comment was back near the beginning. And so that's one of the things is you can shut off. So if you're down low, you shut it off so the sewer doesn't back up your line into your house, and that way you're isolated from the city sewer and you're not getting stuff backing up towards you. Yeah, or baby wipes going down. The only thing that should be going in the toilet: pee, poop, toilet paper. That's it. Nothing else. Let's see. What else here we got? Just trying to remember anything else here. Yeah, just figure out where, plan ahead of time. Go crawl under your house and see, or get a friend or a nephew or a niece. I know some nieces that are tougher than some nephews. Get them to go in there and look and figure out and take use your can't use their cell phone camera, have them videotape everything. That way you can look at it and see what's going on. You can figure out, okay, we need to get a 4-inch or a 3-inch, depending on what your sewer line is, going out before it goes out of the house. And what do we need to do to put in a T with 2 valves on it, or spend the extra money, get an actual diverter valve so you can go and change it from going this way to that way, and figure out what you need to do to get it to flow out whichever direction you need it to flow out in, so you can put in your own septic tank in the back or in the side yard or wherever. Yeah, flushable wipes don't break down that quick. And if you have any questions, which everybody should, about the problems with stuff going down to city sewer, your sanitary district has plenty of videos showing the problems they have at the pumps and stuff, and with all the I wasn't going to say crap, but it's not the crap that's the problem. It's the other crap that's the problem. The stuff that's not supposed to go down the pipes, the causes with their pumps and stuff and the systems there. Yeah. So, plan ahead, figure out what you're going to need to do. And one of the big things you guys are going to need to do is limit all water usage going down the sewer, whether it's through your septic tank or not. One of the things my grandmother talked about, they had a big cast iron bathtub, and then they had a smaller one. And when it was Saturday time for everybody to bathe, they go in the one, do the one, scrub off in the one, hop in the next one, next person hop in the first one. Yeah, the water's getting nasty in the first one. That's just to rinse your body off and get the stuff off, and then you go the other one, and then they do stuff. Of course, nowadays, if you have the camp showers, you use very little water with those things, and you can retrieve that water and use it in the garden. All right, looks like we caught up on that. Let's go over here and go over what's coming up for the next couple days here. All right, so Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound is, the topic is canning science. We're going to talk about water bath canners, pressure canners, steam canners, and kettle canning. So we're going to talk about those.
And why your jar just goes ping for no reason.
Yeah. Then back here on Tactical Tuesday, the topic is bartering, yes or no. And we're going to explore the good, bad, and the ugly of bartering. Thursday night is the Midnight Ride. Friday on Camp Patton Family Compound is do-it-yourself solutions for daily problems. And I've received a bunch of suggestions for that as far as things you can do and stuff. And so if anybody has any other DIY projects that you'd like us to bring up, go ahead and send me an email. Oh, let me go up and bring that, put it up there. Send an email to Camp Patton Family Compound for either topics for either channel or stuff for like the do-it-yourself projects for daily problems, simple hacks and stuff. And there are a bunch of them on the reels I'm watching and stuff now. Just to give you a freebie here, a 1.25 inch flat bit wood drill. Put it in there. They took an apple, put an apple on it. Took the potato peeler, carrot peeler, turned on the drill, so it took the skin off the apple, pulled it off, and they were done really quick.
I've been doing that for years. That is cool.
Yeah. And then they cut it in half, and they used the melon ball to scoop out the middle and the ends. And then they turned it in, and then they went and caramelized it and added cinnamon roll to it, scoop of ice cream, caramel drizzled over the top. Yeah, never mind.
Where's CR right now? He's crying.
Yeah, where's CR? Where did I get the orange kettle from? Oh, all right. I will answer. Let me get back over in here. I will answer that in just a second here. It should be in the description of that video, but I'll get it to you here in just a second. Next Saturday, personal safety when alone. All right. So what are we talking about? And that's got a bunch.
I'll be on that one.
Yeah, that's got a bunch of different aspects to it already. To that one. So, all righty. So the orange kettle. Let me go here, and I will bring it up here. Kettle search. So I got it off of Amazon. And when I got it, all right, the prices, the prices are different. Right now, the orange one, when I got it, was the cheapest one, okay? It was the cheapest. Right now, it is the most expensive one. The black one is $16. Well, $17, $16.95. This one is $22, $17. No price on it. They're out of stock on that one. The dark purple is $17, $20 for this red, and $23.50 for the white. So the cheap ones and the purple, those are the cheap ones. And I absolutely love that thing. Hey, shenanigans. So anyway, so there's where I got the it from off Amazon. So just hang on here. here is the link for that. There's the Amazon link for the kettle. Anybody else is interested? And no, I don't. I'm not an Amazon affiliate, so I don't get any. People keep telling me I need to set up my own little thing. It's like it's another headache, as far as I'm concerned. So, all right, and Ryan the Gamer's here. Yeah. All right, folks. So, hang on. Shelly has something in here. I just missed this. Seen on a home lines, say it had a community septic system. Does that mean that the whole community is connected to the same system?
Yes.
It means yes and no. It means that depending on the size of the community, how it's set up, if it's like a cul-de-sac, on a sub-private development, they probably are all connected to it. It could be that most of them are connected to it, or some of them are connected to it, or 2 or 3 houses are connected to it. And therefore, it's called a community septic system, depending on how it was built and how it's put in. But yeah, in fact, this type of system is used in one of my novels that hopefully I will get out maybe next year, where they built actually 2 different novels. It's used in 2 different novels. One where they built a bunch of RV pads and stuff, and they had all the RV pads hooked into one septic tank. And it was a huge septic tank, a huge system, and they had a grease trap separator and stuff like that on it. Another one was they put in a big tank with huge drain field lines going downhill away from the wells and stuff. And they did the same type thing. Problem for a community septic tank system, generally the engineer will build it the smallest he can get away with. Which means, okay, if you need so much per household and you multiply that out, but then you get to divide that by 5 or multiply it by 0.5, so you only use half of that, so you can because not everybody's going to be flushing at the same time. Yeah, no. You want to figure out how much you need for it, and count up the number of houses and figure that, and then triple that, so you avoid problems.
I learned from my county commissioner where we're going to build that. I was like, well, it's only going to have, 2 bathrooms. He's like, doesn't matter. He's like, you can have 100 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms. He's like, how many times can you flush? But if you have 100 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, that toilet's going all day long. So that dictates the size of your system. Is how many people are living there or could potentially live there. So I had to throw that out there.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for coming by. If you think of any questions on the subject, you can either go back to the video later on and put comments in, or you can just email me a question about it. All right. So everyone, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps: water, food, medicine, clothing. Learn a new skill, and please plant an indoor and outdoor garden. Grow food fresh. I'm finding more and more disturbing stuff about the fresh vegetables in the store, which ain't that fresh and ain't that healthy.
Oh, you've been watching that too, huh?
I just saw you change your.
Oh, you just figured that out? I'm the overflowing toilet talking to you. Don't flush me. Wow.
All right, everyone. See you later.
That's funny.